All right. So hello everyone. I have been gone for a long time, but I'm back we're not going to actually do a hand history review tonight. We're going to talk about how to record a hand history and why hand histories are so important. So I've prepared a small slideshow that we'll start with. We might cut to a little video I have, and then we'll look at some hand histories, and we'll also see if anyone has any questions. But I have my illustrious friends here, and anyone can interrupt at any time or ask questions at any time. So I am going to share my screen for my first ever slideshow that I've ever done. So let me know if you can see it, and everyone can see my hand
Looks real
history.
sharp.
So, all
Hand
right.
history. Let's do it. Let's
So,
dive in. I'm excited.
all right. Let's admit Stuart. First of all, I just want to say that, hang on, okay, yeah.
I got Stu in here. We're all set, I think.
All right. All right, hand histories. Why should you record your hand histories? We're going to talk about how to record hand histories. We're going to talk about how to discuss and talk about hands when you're talking to someone about a hand history, not when it's written down. We're going to talk about how to write a hand history and just a few tips and tricks that I have to help me when I'm writing a hand history. So, why record hand histories? Why record your hands? This is something from my Faraz Jaka coaching. So I'll just read it here. It's one of the most underutilized tools in your arsenal to ramp up your game skills. As a poker player, you must be actively reviewing your own hands, not just studying what professionals are doing or reviewing solver outputs. Why is this? Because that's when you understand your own thought process and how much of the poker theory involved you've absorbed, what's lacking, and what you still need to work on. So I think that's really, really important. I'm going to just show another little clip here from, oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. I'm
Hang
still
on.
not super tech savvy, but
It's
we will.
okay. Stick
I'm
with
gonna,
it. I love it. It just makes me look even better on Mondays. Just watching everyone else have a little trouble with it every once in a while.
And more specifically, how to document your hands and how to talk hands with other people. So this is arguably the most important thing that you need to be doing to be a successful poker player. I have met people out there that don't read books, that don't watch any videos, that don't use solvers, and some of them still can make it and be a successful poker player, even though it is rare. But I have never met a player who doesn't document hands and doesn't talk hands with other people that has become a successful player that has stood the test of time. So let's jump into that. All right, on the screen here, in this first.
I just wanted you to hear from him about how important, hang on, about how important it is that we record our hand histories. It's just something that, like, we will never get to a place of higher playing if we aren't recording our hand histories and talking about them. We can watch all the hands in the world, but we're never going to get all that much better if we don't really analyze our own game. So I'm going to share again with my little slideshow here. And you tell me if that's sharing okay. And
Yeah, important information to include.
right. So looks like there's a lot of information here, but these are all things that you would that we want to know when we're talking about a hand history. So I could talk to someone, one of my friends might come up to me and say, man, I had this hand, I had ace king, I got two callers, and the flop was like queen, 7, 6, and I bet and they raised and I didn't know what to do. Okay, like, hold on. There's not nearly enough information here. So what we want to do is these are just some of the things we want to know. We want to know, what tournament is it? You don't have to put the name of an event, but you can. You can just put a $200 buy-in. It was a daily $60 at my local casino. Just what it was. Was it a freeze out or was it a re-entry tournament? So, or was it a knockout tournament? Like just a quick tournament description. When I'm making notes about a tournament, I always write this in I use my phone. I use the notepad in my phone, and every time I start a new tournament, I put, this is the tournament, this is the name of the tournament, this is the buy-in, and then I put down what level I start the tournament in. So if you just put down the level you start the tournament in, then that sort of right away gives us a starting point. So you want to know the level of when your hand takes place in the tournament. So, and also like, is this early level, mid stage of the tournament? Is it on the bubble? Are we in the money yet? Those are all important things to know when you're writing down a hand history. We want to know chip stacks. We want to know our chip stack, and we want to know the chip stacks of any opponents, which we call villains. They're in the hand. And we want any information or reads that we have on the opponents. You may not have any reads. You might be new to the table, or you may not have been noticing, or you might just notice this guy's been in a lot of hands. If you remember that, put it down. If you don't worry about it. We want to know our position in the hand. Are we on the button? Are we in the cutoff? Are we in the hijack? Are we one of the blinds? That's really important. And it's also important to know the villains. So it could be something like under the gun raised, the cutoff 3-bet. I called from the big blind and say the under the gun folds. Well, you got to put that under the gun folds. So you just want to put the position of everyone, button, big blind. Hang on. Pre-flop action. So all the bets, raises, calls, and folds. You don't have to say under the gun folds, middle position folds, cutoff folds. We just say it folded to, say, the cutoff, who opened, and then, yeah, go ahead, Jim.
So Kim, I've got a question. Sometimes, so is it better to just write down approximate numbers for what the bets were than nothing? Or is it like crucially important that people remember the exact stack size, the exact amount of the bet, the exact size of the pot? Obviously it's better to do that, but
What
how
I do
important is it?
What I do is I write my stack size at one time, and that's at the beginning of the level. And then I haven't even recorded a hand. I've just got, this is level 3. I'm starting with 30,000 chips. So that's all I write down. So then I sort of know the approximate size of my stack during for whatever hand I'm going to talk about in that level. If the villain has a way bigger stack or a way smaller stack, I might know the villain has me covered, or I have more chips than the villain has. So I'll put those down, but exact stack sizes you don't need to know at this point, in my opinion. Like, it's not important. This is all information that you can include, but whatever you have time to include is more important. So if you don't count your exact chip stack out at the beginning of the hand, it's okay. If we know what level you're in and what you started the level with, you're probably okay as far as that goes. But we want to know.
Just the more
Yep.
specific you are, the easier it is to reconstruct some of the action too, if you don't have all the details, right? At least it gives you a certain place
Right.
to
So
start
you
from.
could just say it can be in like level 2, and you started level 2 with 30K, and you can just say that I raised from the button, I got called by the big blind who had me covered. So now we know that the effective stack is somewhere around 30K. So we know that that's what we're playing for. Or we can say the big blind called and he didn't have very many chips. I think he lost a big pot and he only had about 20 big blinds, or 10,000, or whatever you're estimating it at. Much less. So you just sort of an estimate. You don't have to know exactly like you do when you're online. So you need to record pre-flop action. So bets, raises, calls, and folds. That's pretty rudimentary there. When we talk about, so then we've got the pre-flop action recorded. We talk about flop. So what came on the flop? So you can go something like ace, king, 5. And you can go just diamond, diamond, or DD. Like you don't have to say, or you can say, and I'll show you a little trick that is in a hand history keyboard that I'll show you, where you can do the exact suits of each card. And the reason why this can be important, especially if we've got an ace in our hand, or there's an ace on the flop and we might have a king in our hand, is it's really good to know the suits when you're looking at flushes and possible flush draws and possible blockers for flushes. So suits are important. So you record your own hand, of course. So I didn't even put that in here, but when we record the position of the hero and villain, you record what your hand was. And you have to record, you can't just say I had ace king. You have to say I had ace of diamonds, king of spades. You have to say what the suits are. It's so important if you get to that point in the hand where flushes might be relevant or flush blockers. So flop cards, including suits, flop action, and include the pot size where possible, but you don't have to put it in. You can go figure it out later. When you're looking at the hand, you can just say, I raised 800 and got called by the big blind. So now you can go figure that out later. But the action should be what you bet and what the raise was or the call, or how many people called. So you can figure out how much is in the pot later. Turn card and action. If the hand goes to the turn, river card and action. If the hand goes to the turn and showdown, what was shown down if you can get it. And this is really important when you're recording it. Write down any questions you might have about the hand, because you won't remember later what you were worried about or thinking about in the hand. Jim?
One of the things that just jumps out to me about this is that this is also the stuff that you should be paying attention to yourself carefully if you are playing the hand of poker. Like it'll be helpful for you throughout the whole hand to know what was the size of the pot on the flop, what was the exact size of the bet that was made. Like it'll make your job easier as a poker player, not just as a note taker. So this is great. Thanks.
That's right. This is hang on here. Okay, so this little thing right here that I'm showing you now is called the Hand History Keyboard, and it's available at the Google Store and it's available at the App Store, and it's a free download, and you can put it right on your smartphone, and you have all of these buttons to quickly press. If you know that you had 5-5, you can go 5 club, 5 diamond, and it goes really quickly onto your phone. And hero is here, so I just push hero, under the gun, and then what I had, and then villain, big blind, or I just say big blind calls, and then we know that whoever's in the hand is the villain. So now you can just put villain. You don't actually have to put their position each time because we've said what the position is at the beginning. It also has buttons for pre-flop. You don't have to I don't use that much. I end up just pressing flop, and it just writes flop in my phone. And then I put down what the flop was. And you can see all the buttons that are here. It just makes it easier. Sometimes if I don't remember suits, I'll just press, like they showed Jack 10 suited, or they had Queen Jack offsuit in the end. I won't even remember what the suits are. So it's okay to use those shortcuts if you don't remember. So let's look at an example of the hand here. So here, first of all, is there any questions? Anybody got any questions about recording hand histories or writing them down?
I had a quick question. With that hand history keyboard, are there any kind of rules at the table, pulling out your phone and using it, or?
No, but you have to do it after the hand. So one of the other tricks that I use is if it's been a complicated hand with a lot of chips went in, and I was really wondering if I made the right sizings and all of that sort of stuff, I'll pull my phone out at the end of the hand, and I'll take a quick picture of the flop or the quick picture of the board, so that I know what the suits are when I'm going to go write the hand down. And then I'll write it down afterwards, after the hand, while the dealer's dealing the next hand. Whatever I can remember, I'll write down. Another tip, if you're not very fast with a phone or you have extra long nails and you don't use your phone, you can quickly just put the record, there's records options on your phone, and you can just record quickly about the hand. So you can do an audio recording on your phone instead if you want. I never use that, but I know poker players that do use that. They either get up from the table and they quickly go through the hand and the questions they had about the hand, or they do it right at the table quietly while the dealer's shuffling and dealing the next hand. Yeah, Jim?
I was just gonna say, a lot of card rooms won't let you use your phone while you're in the hand, but between hands or after the hand is fine, as long as you don't have active cards in front of you. And a lot of card rooms won't allow you to take video of the action, but they'll let you record your thoughts into your phone on audio, and they'll let you take a still frame. Yeah, they'll let you take a picture usually of the action. That would be the only other thing. And just check with your card room if you're not sure.
And then for people that really aren't comfortable using the phone for any whatever reason, you can still take a notebook to poker rooms, and you can actually write stuff down in a notebook and record things that way. I find that cumbersome myself, but I know that you can. It is something that you can do.
And Rob's always talking about how you can just pretend you're texting a buddy about what you're doing too. Like, people aren't, it's not like everyone's gonna, oh, look at that person, they're taking notes, you know, now I know that about them and I'm gonna give them, you know, whatever. Just
and you can check out Jonathan Little's got a video out there on YouTube about how to record hand histories with a notebook. So he's got some nice shortcuts that you can learn to make it easier to write those hand histories.
That's nice. So maybe you could put that link, Rob, in the somewhere for people to look at. Maybe when we post this out on the hand history review, or if we post this somewhere, we can put it in show notes.
I'll have to look it up again because it's been ages since I watched it, but it's out there. I'll find it.
Okay, excellent. All right, so we're just gonna go through a couple of examples here. So here's an example of a hand history that I wrote. I'm not perfect at writing them. I just write them down quickly, and we can look at these to see what's missing and what isn't. So here's an example. I write, it's Venetian 1K Super Seniors. We're at 1K, 1.5K. So I just didn't even put the big blind ante, because we all know at this level there's a big blind ante. We're 37K effective in this stack. The villain in middle position raises to 3,500. Hero in the big blind with ace of diamonds, 9 of diamonds calls. Flop comes 9 of hearts, 5 of diamonds, 4 of clubs. Hero checks, villain bets 4K, hero raises to 11K, villain goes all in for 34K and puts the hero all in. And I fold, but I have a whole bunch of questions. So that this is my questions that I wrote down were, is this just a call on the flop? Was my size too big? Is it a call on the river? Like, I need to look at this hand. Like, was I priced in now? Like, should I not be folding here ever? Like, I don't know, right? So I get scared, I fold, but maybe I shouldn't be folding. So what's missing from this? It's not horrible, this hand history, but we're missing a few details, like what stage of the tournament is it? Can I still rebuy if I bust in this hand, right? That's really important to know when I'm looking at this and deciphering it. And do we have any info on this villain? Like, is this someone that just came to the table, or is it someone that's super aggressive? And this 37K effective, I didn't really write that I was covered. I remembered that I was covered, but I didn't write that down. So if I was looking at this a long time later, I wouldn't know if I covered villain or a villain covered me. So that's just, but you can still look at this and we can decipher a hand history from this. But it's important to do this part at the end, which is What are your questions about this hand? What are we going to study when we study this as a hand history? Here's another one. This is in the Orleans main event, $300. This is level 6, 400, 800, 800. I have 40K. Hero is in middle position with ace of diamonds, queen of clubs, raises to 1800. Big blind calls. This yellow I put in after. So I put it in after. The flops, jack of hearts, 10 of clubs, 6 of diamonds. Big blind checks, hero bets 2500. Big blind raises to 6500. I must have folded because I didn't write anything else down. So questions, I need to study this spot. Should we ever be folding here? With this raise size, is this an auto continue? This is not a very big raise. Do we ever 3-bet this when the hero raises? And what's the proper C-bet sizing for this type of board from middle position versus big blind? These are the questions I had. So when I do a hand history review, we don't have to go to the river. We can just look at the flop. We don't have to, it doesn't have to be a full complete hand. You can have I'll sometimes write down, under the gun went all in for 6 big blinds, and I'm in the big blind with 9, 10 offsuit. Is this a call? Like, I don't know. Should I be calling here? Like, I'll have to go look at that up, right? So I'll just write something quick like that even in my notes. And those are all the things that we can look at when we're looking at hand history reviews. One more. I think one more. Yeah, one more. Level 4 of the win 400, 200, 400, 400. Hero is in middle position. Ace, king of hearts, raises to 1100. Big blind calls. Flop, ace, king, 10, diamond, diamond. I didn't remember what they were. I just knew there was 2 diamonds on the flop. This is okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Pot's 2800. I put that in after. Big blind checks. Hero bets 800. Big blind calls. Turn is with 4400 in the pot. Big blind checks. Hero bets 3500. Big blind calls. River 11,000 in the pot is the 9 of hearts. I didn't even write what the turn was here. Like, I don't even know what the turn was. The turn came, but I don't know what it was. Big blind checks, hero bets 5K, big blind folds. So I'm just saying you can be missing stuff. It's okay if you're missing. I just said what's missing here. Did anyone notice we didn't have a turn card? It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you put it down, write it down, you're never going to be perfect. I'm never perfect in my hand histories either. But at least we can look at them and we can learn from them. We can learn. Yes, Jim.
Sorry, I know I'm the eager beaver here today, but I'm just interested in this stuff so much because I have a terrible memory when it comes to stuff. I really need to get better at writing it down myself. I keep reinforcing that every time I play live. But I think one of the things that you said you're doing here, which is really smart, is at the beginning of each level, you're just starting a note with the level number, the blinds, and your stack. And then every hand that you get, you're just entering it under that note. So you don't actually need to rewrite that stuff every time. That's all kind of locked in by that top line. And then if you play multiple hands in the level, you might update your chip stack, but it always tells you sort of where you are. So that's
or you
really
might
helpful.
find that the next time you write something down, it's at level 8.
Right.
Like, but at the end of every level, I put in what my chip stack is and what the level's going to.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Yeah. So I don't even know how many chips I had here in this hand.
Right.
Like, it's like there's a whole bunch of stuff missing here.
Yeah, this is your worst one yet, Kim, I swear.
I just want people to show that I don't necessarily do it right if I'm doing it quick. Right. But that's, if I had gone over these notes right away, I would have probably caught what was missing and then being able to put it in. Now, I don't even remember playing the win 400.
or like you say, if you just snapped a photo of the board, as you were folding, you'd have that, you'd be able to fill in all the details afterwards.
I won this hand. I won this hand, by the way, the big blind folded. But like, if I want to really dissect this hand and know if my bets were right and all of that stuff, I need more information here. Right? Especially what the turn card was. I would say it probably wasn't a diamond. Anyway, that's hand histories. It's really, really beneficial. So I would invite everybody to send in hand histories to our forums at Rec Poker. They're free for all our members. If you want to try out premium and come to the hand history review, and we dive much deeper into the hands using solvers and stuff. So look at it on a sort of on a bigger level. So that's why hand histories are important, and why it's really beneficial for us to talk to our peers and our coaches about them. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Does it get easier the more you do it? Because I don't play live enough. I feel like every time I'm playing, I'm rusty at taking notes, and even just remembering to take notes. Like, you or some of the other folks, do you have like a checklist or something that helps you kind of remain having this top of mind while you're playing?
You do get faster at it because you know where everything is on the hand history keyboard.
Yeah, that's great.
And then if you just say you're playing in a tournament with friends, then you say, we're going to record our hands in this tournament. So let's open up a note app, a new note, put what the tournament is, and then on every level record your chip stack and what level we're at, and try to record a hand, to talk about. So if you know that you're actively doing it, like I'll have tournaments where I just wrote in the name of the tournament and I never wrote anything else.
Right.
So it's like, but we'll practice this at our next road trip, and maybe we'll revisit this later and see what the hard parts were and the easy parts. But using the hand history keyboard does get a lot easier the more you use it. And I just use it to my notepad in my phone.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the last thing I'd say, is that the real advantage to doing it on your phone and not with a pen and paper is that you can go home and upload it to your computer, or you can, have it in a format where you can compare it to other notes or email it to friends or stuff like that. If it's in your notepad, you're going to have to go then transcribe it into some other format to share with your friends. And that always, even just that one step of friction, just means you're less likely to do it. And so this is all about making it easier for you to record this accurately and share it with people.
And you'd be surprised at how much you actually take away from going into a hand history, like really going into a hand history. So you can go into a hand history and say, okay, they folded, I folded. Like we can do one of the ones that I did where I folded, but maybe I should have called. Now what do I do on all of these turns? And we can start to look at that, right? So you can go a lot further, and it's just a way to really improve your game. I don't know any, like Faraz was saying, I don't know any higher end poker players that don't do hand history reviews or review their hands or other people's hands. So
Yeah, well said.
It's very beneficial part of learning. So don't be afraid. Put your hands in the forums. Maybe I will what's the best way to do this, Jim? Keep it open for next month for the general public. So it's won't be it will be for all members, Rec Poker members. If you post a hand in my hand history, or can they? They can't post in there.
No, they can. It's free. The forums are free for people to post. Oh, but they can't post in your group. So just say, if anyone posts a hand history in our forums, in the Rec Poker forums, and tag PetVet in the
tag
post.
PetVet hand history review. I will choose what I think is the best one, the best written one, not how you did in the hand. The best written one. And we'll give a prize at the next hand history review.
Great. Yeah, we've got a free month of Learn Pro Poker membership
to give away.
Kim is going to give away, even though it's hers. She won it fair and square, but she wants to share it with one of you lucky people. So
Yeah.
That's a great, so go post a hand history in the forums, get all the details right. And Kim's gonna pick the winner next month. That's a great idea. Thanks, Kim.
Yeah. So everybody have good luck on the felt. Start writing your hands down and let's look at a few of them. All right. Until next month.
Thanks, Kim.